remember, Tyler had been battling those, quote, demons that he thought he had for being gay. So to me, it seems like he just really couldn't fake how he felt, at least not in the bedroom with a woman. But what Bethany didn't know is that Tyler had been having sex, just not with her. In the weeks leading up to their marriage, Tyler began having sex with male community members. And he framed it as needing to, quote, practice for his and Bethany's honeymoon, which I don't know the complete details of it, like if it was consensual or not with these guys, or if Tyler was completely taking advantage of the power that he had over them. But regardless, Tyler and these men were engaging in sexual activities, and they kept it completely hidden from Bethany. She had no idea what he or anybody else was doing behind her back, which I have to say, it's not really that shocking when you hear of it, but it is kind of like, what the like, and to say you need practice and you need these guys' help, like, I don't know if that's how it works. I just can't even imagine how Bethany would have felt if she had known that Tyler was like sleeping around with other men in the community. So all of that to say, the lack of affection, it definitely put a strain on their new marriage. It also made Bethany realize that just because they were married, it didn't mean that things were suddenly going to be different. And that realization hit her very hard. After the honeymoon, Bethany's depression was getting so bad that Tyler and the other members of the community started writing emails to one another about it. Almost like it was something to problem solve with one another instead of just showing her genuine sympathy, getting her help, reaching out to her family. It was like they were going to take this problem on themselves and try to figure out a solution. Those emails were dated on October 16th, 2012. In them, some of the community members were specifically saying that Bethany seemed like she was, quote, close to snapping, and that they were worried that she would lose her job because of it. Which it seemed like, again, that was one of the primary concerns. Oh, if she's losing it, if she's about to snap, what's going to happen to our income for the group, rather than like, hey, what's going on with Bethany? We need to get her help and make sure that she's okay. They just didn't seem all that worried about what Bethany was actually going through. It seemed like they were more concerned about the paycheck that was coming in, and I imagine it was probably going directly to Tyler and dispersing out to the rest of the community. Then, on October 23rd, just a week later, Bethany was having a very difficult day mentally. She filled up a cup with windshield wiper fluid, and she walked into the house where Tyler was sitting, and she started confronting him about everything. Now, when Tyler realized what was in her cup and that she planned on drinking it, he managed to get the cup out of her hands, and he called the police. When law enforcement arrived and asked her if she had any self-harm thoughts, she told them, quote, "It would be easier to die than to change." So because of that, the police put her in protective custody at a medical center nearby. Bethany was only there, though, for 2 days, and she made it clear to the doctors and the medical staff that she felt like she was damned, that she would never be able to reach salvation once the second coming came, that she was doomed, which, by the way, thanks to Tyler's teachings, she thought that the end of times were going to be sooner rather than later, so she thought that this was all looming over her and like it was about to happen tomorrow. In fact, when she was being released, one of the nurses asked if she was still having thoughts of taking her own life, and her response was, quote, "Well, it could lead to that," which I have to say, I don't work in the mental health business. I don't know what regulations are in place, but if you're putting somebody on a hold and they're still expressing those kinds of ideations and those thoughts that are very concerning, why are you releasing them after only 2 days? Shouldn't there be some sort of measures in place to protect them? So by her being released and saying, yeah, it could lead to that, sure enough, it did. Because just a couple of weeks later, she was found dead with that note next to her. Because remember, this all happened on October 23rd, and by October 30th, 2012, Bethany was found dead in the back of her own minivan that was parked near the lake in Missouri. Investigators also had found that plastic bag over her head, a handwritten note, Tylenol PM, but also, like I said, there was something about the scene that just did not sit right with Bethany's family.